Agier?
Yes, that is right.
Great.
That is right.
Okay.
How you doing today?
Katrina. Nice to meet you. Excuse me.
I'm definitely that colorful person.
I love that. As you can see, a very un-Asta outfit. She likes it dark and tight.
Okay, I guess we'll start.
I'm just looking at you, girl. I love that dress. Okay.
Well, I worked on her today.
Awesome.
So, Asta's big journey, outside of obviously things going on with Harry, has been with finding her daughter and now dealing with her parents and trying to come to grips with this whole idea of family and how you relate to your children.
Yeah.
Where does that color how she views Harry and Bridget and Harry's wild swings, like from being indifferent to Bridget to wanting Bridget to sending Bridget away?
There's a beautiful moment in season 2, I think it's the last episode, where he's sort of discovering how hard it is and how hard it was for him to let his child go, even though he knew it was the right thing to do. And they have this wonderful moment where she's like, yeah, I understand. And it's this great human connection between, friend to friend, but what it is to be a parent and what it is to lose a child in whatever capacity that may be. And I think it's really been a thing that's bonded them from the start. I also think they have their own parental childlike relationship going on, where she's sort of getting a chance to start over and be a mom to Harry and teach him things from the start, to the point that now in season 3 we're seeing him go through some teenager years and he's rebelling a little bit and she's trying to not always have to be a mom anymore, and there's a way that they're sort of separating a little bit, which we need to see. But I think it's such an interesting show about that in general, because you see it happen with me and Gary Farmer, who plays my dad, and even in Kate and Ben's relationship with what's happening to them, and Kate's relationship with her child, Alice and her parents. It's like, it's not just between Harry and Asta. It's a very parental-child relationship bond show. And I think even just Harry's character is sort of a huge metaphor for what it's like to be a baby coming out into the world, feeling alien. I just try to imagine like a baby coming out, first of all, being cold, it's uncomfortable, slimy, and then like people are like this close to your face, oh my God, hi, and you're like, it's traumatic, you know? So seeing him get to that place in season 1 and then to season 3 where he's so comfortable in his human body, now he's just like letting the freak flag fly, he's like so bizarre. It's so, as Asta, I feel like she's really proud of him. And then in that last episode, when she finally does the right thing by her daughter, I cried and I called Chris. I was like, she's a good mom. Like, she did it, We can finally let that go after 3 seasons, which is really beautiful. So.
That's actually where I was going over with my question, just emotionally, how has the relationship with Jay, this arc, and just how has that been for you, just not only as the character, but like as a human?
Yeah.
Like, how do you sort of put that into perspective?
I love Kayla Lorraine, who plays Jay. We have a special bond. Well done on casting, by the way. Like, she looks like my daughter. I'm like, yes, we look and we feel like family outside of the show too. We spend a lot of time going and getting like ice cream and sitting on a bench in a park and like talking about our feelings. So it's a very mother-daughter type of relationship. But in the show too, I think it's a credit to Kayla how gracefully she plays Jay, and also how hurt she's been by me. And, I'm very fortunate that the writers have given me a chance to bond with her and unite with her and make it better. But there were some bad moments there where Harry steals my, memory bank away and I don't get to be with her for her birthday. That's still like gives me sweats in the middle of the night. It's awful, and she still forgave me and let me come back in the end. I don't know if I would have done that if I were her.
Yeah.
As you see, Asta goes through that with her own mother. And there's enough times where you get sort of slapped on the hand that you're like, no, that's it. So I'm very fortunate that Jay has forgiven me I don't know if I would have done that. So
I think it's intentional storytelling. I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know your age. It's not important, but
Yeah.
just thinking probably around the same generation that wasn't a norm. So to see that level of
Yes.
empathy on television,
I know what you mean. There's a generational shift in the tools we have for our mental health. I
Bingo.
know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
And they might not have been able to handle that before, but now they're a lot more forgiving of this generation,
Yeah.
this generational gap between the way we once were and the way we are now. And they're pretty much just like, it's okay, you don't understand.
yeah,
You didn't have the tools.
Yeah.
And I say that about my own ancestors,
Yeah.
you didn't, it's a way to have great empathy. So it's a great thing to bring up. But I don't think I was thinking that when she was forgiving me at the
Right.
time. I was just so glad she was forgiving me that I was like, thank God.
yeah.
You
And
know?
it's just perfect to my question because, I think as we start to normalize the level of empathy, whether it is through character work or personally, we healing the world in a very particular way needed. So.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So early in the series, Harry bonded with Asta. The only person that she was the only person who knew.
Yep.
And then she was the only person who knew his secret.
Right?
And
Yes.
she is the reason why he came back to Earth. That he wanted to prevent the Earth from being destroyed was simply because he didn't want Asta to be destroyed.
Right.
Now, especially with Heather showing up and his relationship with her, and just suddenly that obliterates everything else. And then when they broke up, his grief obliterated everything else that was just kind of been shoved into the background. How does that feel for Asta, and does that mean that Harry's connection with Earth is less?
I feel like the more human he becomes, the more jaded. In some ways, the alien parts of him kept him in a different planetary way of thinking, truly and literally and spiritually and emotionally. There weren't even emotions involved. It was very matter of fact. Whereas now that he's a human, there's enough to come in there into play, like insecurity and doubt and shame, that makes it really hard to be a human. And I think he's now experiencing that in a way that he wasn't before. And Asta was experiencing it in the first place, but now she's starting to lighten her load on that a little bit. And so they're sort of switching roles. And she's a little bit more confident in her skin now. And she's watching him go through what she's been through. And so it bonds them, this, her being I've been there. But the fact that he doesn't come to her as much anymore, the fact that he does have a girlfriend, there's a definite jealousy factor there and feeling like she's lost her purpose. But I know when we have a season 4 manifesting that we're going to explore that a little bit more with Asta. What does she do when she's not taking care of anybody else? What are her hobbies? I want to see her go around just making candles with Mayor Ben and having Judy show her how to clean the bowling balls. I don't know. I just want to see her discovering stuff. I think. Yeah, right. Well, we got to call that out at some point, right? We're starting to see a little bit of that break apart in season 3 for Darcy, so that might be another fight down the line.
That's all the time we have. Thank you so much.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.